Windmill Crusaders presents Raptor Hill Games, a podcast about prehistoria in board games.
I have wrought my simple plan. If I give 1 hour of joy to the boy who's half a man, or the man who's half a boy.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
And now that we've started on a profound note, it's all downhill from here. Okay, so this is the Raptor Hill podcast. We've been wanting to do this for a while. We're just going to go through a bunch of games and talk about the dinosaurs in them. That's it. That's what we do here.
Yep, and to give a brief explanation as to who we are and why we're even qualified to do anything like this, I am Tyler Lukow, a paleontology student at Brigham Young University, as well as a game designer for Windmill Crusaders.
I am Thomas Lukow, a dinosaur enthusiast, also a designer at Windmill Crusaders.
And I've been having a look at every dinosaur game that is in existence. My total compilation list is currently at 586.
Yep. Oh, and counting. Very much and counting. Turns out almost any list you find out there is horribly incomplete.
Most of them are just around 20. So many of these games are things that no one has ever heard of. Our game today, however, is one that is on several of the lists and even makes a rank of number 1 on some of them.
Yes, and that would be Raptor.
Specifically, as there is multiple games named Raptor, this is Raptor, published by Matagot, by Bruno Cathala and Bruno Faidutti, with the art by Vincent
Dutrait.
Yes.
I think that's the T is silent. I'm not sure.
It would be silent. It's a French game. They're French. I've looked it up.
I think a natural place to start with this would be just an overview of the game mechanics.
So the game Raptor takes place somewhere in a jungle where dinosaurs have been located by the world. Specifically, a pack of raptors have been found, surviving elsewhere in this jungle. Somehow they've survived past the extinction and into the modern day. As such, a team of scientists have been sent to recover some of these dinosaurs to bring back for study. So, how you play the game is one player plays as the raptors, playing one mother raptor and her, five babies, trying to get them out of the jungle and to escape from these scientists. While the other side plays a larger group of scientists with a limited number starting on the board, more that can join later, trying to capture a number of the raptor babies.
Yes, and the way that this game goes about this is by having you play one card at a time from your hand of 3, and you resolve the cards in numerical order. So 1 goes before 2, goes before 3, and so on. If 2 people have the same number, both cards cancel each other out. So, assuming that I just played a card against Tyler, and I got a 3 and he got a 5, I would play 3, and since I'm looking at the scientists, this one is the Jeep, which lets me move 1 or 2 scientists in a straight line as far as I want to, and number 5 for the dinosaurs lets them undo some of the hunter's progress.
That being, the hunter can use tranquilizer darts to give sleep tokens to the raptors, reducing the movement.
Yes.
A great hindrance. This helps you to recover, as the card is called Recovery.
There are 2 ways to win this game, and one of them is to capture baby raptors, and one of them is to move all of the ammunition tokens onto the wounds and movement penalty tracker on the raptor, meaning that you've tranked the mother and can take her to the homeland, or that you've captured enough baby raptors for whatever nefarious science you're about to do.
The mother raptor can win if she helps 3 of her 5 babies escape, or if she can kill, eating all of the scientists such that none remain on the board.
So one of the things that's really interesting here is the portrayal of the scientists, because these are horrible scientists.
I would have to agree as a scientist myself.
Among the things that they do is they bring sleeping gas. They're capturing baby raptors to take into captivity without any regard for anything. They are lighting fires. Lighting fires, you guys. Why are we lighting fire?
I mean, to explain, in the game they use it to rout the raptors, and it is, in truth, something that is actually representative of the more colonial-era scientists, which is what this game is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, these scientists had a much higher disregard for morals in the pursuit of science, along with willingness to disregard
Anything, really.
yeah, a lot of stuff. So much was disregarded that could have been useful for science. They just didn't like it for some reason, or they just took what they wanted and called themselves scientists. And that is what's represented here. Now, of course, there was still plenty of amazing scientists in the time, but there was also a lot not so great.
But one of the ways it benefits the game is you don't feel bad for the scientists getting mauled.
Mm-hmm.
On the Raptors side, let's talk about what the Raptors are doing.
Well, again, the Raptors primarily play as a caring mother and her children. So the mother plays primarily by attacking the scientists to protect her babies, calling and getting the babies to travel to the exit and trying to scare off the scientists as well. And this generally results in a playstyle that is faster in some ways than the scientists. The Raptor will, in our experience with the game, at first seem to do better than the scientists before the scientists then have a chance to build up. With the Raptors, everything they have in the game starts out there. You have your cards, all your Raptors are out. The scientists can get more out as it goes on.
I think it's good to mention that this does feel like a reasonable response from the Raptors. Sure, maybe it's a little more extra murdery, because
They're
I
animals.
think the real animals would probably be more inclined to just avoid the humans.
It's a mother raptor protecting her babies. Have you ever seen a polar bear
Yeah.
protecting her
Oh yeah,
babies?
the mother makes sense.
Babies
but
aren't
also
the ones attacking. The babies are the ones that are going to run away.
Well, yeah, that's true.
One of the next things that we can talk about is the art. Specifically, as a paleontology student, I of course want to critique the accuracy of the art. Now, some of you are going to be like, oh, I don't care if it's accurate. Well, too bad. I'm talking about it anyway.
Well, I think the people listening to this may feel a little differently than you're imagining. But
Some people will care, some people won't. To those of you who are interested in paleontology, yay! I'm with you there. To those of you who don't care about paleontology and are just into dinosaurs, too bad, I'm talking about it. What we see on the raptors in the art here, for those who would not be watching by video or anything, is that on the card art, they're very much not feathered. They've got the broken wrists that we see common in the movies. Head posture that is a bit odd. Overall, the art isn't bad, it's just inaccurate. They do a good job at fleshing it out, however. These raptors are not skeletal. They're not, I've blanked on the word.
Shrink wrap?
Yeah, they're not shrink-wrapped dinosaurs here. They look fleshed out like they could actually be alive, even if their wrists would be broken and they're totally naked of their feathers.
Scandalous.
Size-wise, it doesn't explain what species of raptor. So size-wise, these are compared to in the minis, much bigger than anything like a velociraptor. So it'd be around the size of Utah raptor or Dakota raptor.
I mean, to be fair, they never specify which kind.
Yes, it does not say velociraptor, just raptor.
Actually, hold on. Let me double check that they don't say that. But
Pretty sure it just says raptors. The miniatures hold to the same things as the art.
Oh, no, it does. It
Oh,
does. Okay. So it says it's a velociraptor.
Well, these are not velociraptors. These are too big to be velociraptors. So, again, Utah raptor size, maybe Deinonychus size. And it's hard to see on the minis. Can't really tell if there's a killer claw there, but it's in the classic raptor jumping position. I can say the Utah raptor skeleton we have at the museum I work at is in almost the same exact position, one leg raised, arms outstretched, jaw open, ready to pounce.
So this is
in the action of pouncing.
This is a very Jurassic Park understanding of the raptors.
Yeah.
But also, I don't hate that, even though it is not so accurate. And to be fair, the art looks gorgeous.
Yes.
It's not like this is bad art.
Despite scientific inaccuracy, the art is good.
And especially, I like the humans. The humans' art gives us these landscapes with them coming in all Jurassic Park 2 style. And, in the jeeps and with the guns, peering through the foliage, having the sun behind them as they fly their choppers in with nets between the choppers. I didn't notice that before, but that is weird. Why would you have a net between the two choppers?
I expect they're hoping to drop it and catch some dinosaurs.
I guess, yeah.
On the whole, as far as accessibility goes, that's a big concern for me. A close friend of mine is disabled, and I have known a lot of disabled people. Color-wise, things are generally good. You don't need to rely on color to understand the game, as long as you can see the pictures, the raptors, the numbers, and the symbols. It's easy to read, so children can play the game for the most part. You do have a card in front of you, but once you have played the game, everything that is given by information on the card can be understood by the symbols instead of reading it. So any children who are unable to read or people who have reading or sight difficulties can totally play the game without problem. And I would say it's generally a fairly good, accessible game.
I think that's coming to a close on our thoughts about Raptor. Is that right? Let me check our note paper here.
I believe
Oh.
so.
The box.
Oh yes,
Okay.
we can mention the box. It's fairly standard box, nothing special. It's not like everything fits in absolutely perfectly. It has 2 dividers.
So the box, just kind of a simple 2-slot divider, with one slot being a bit smaller and one a bit bigger, so it can hold the terrain tiles.
It doesn't have a perfect fit on any of the pieces. You just put it in as best you can. Could use some inserts, but it's not a bad box.
There is room if there were like expansions or something, which to my knowledge, no.
There is not. No expansions yet.
What year was this, anyways?
I
think it's a little late for expansions.
Actually, it's more recent than you think. Yeah,
Really?
2021.
Oh, 2020.
Editor Thomas here. Looks like we had a little bit of a mess up. So it was actually released in 2015, not in the year that we said. Alright, back to the show.
Yeah, the game feels like... I guess this is a point I could bring up. The game feels like an older game in the way it's designed and play, along with the way the art is. But it's a more recent game, being published in 2021.
Not completely like an older game. It doesn't have roll and move or event decks.
There's older games without roll and move.
I know there are,
decks.
but
and we're going to cover, seriously, with the 586 games I've got so far.
That's true.
So many of them are roll and move. Most of them don't have event decks, though. Some do, but most do not. Anyway,
and
it has the feel of some older games without actually being that, which is actually cool. It gets a sort of colonial Jurassic Park retro-ish feel. Not quite retro, not retro in the way we understand it today, but it is an older style of gameplay.
And I also encountered this for the first time at a board game cafe, so I just kind of assumed that it would have had to have been out for a while, but I think that was in 2021.
Yeah, it is a much more recent game. And overall, I have to think it's a good game. There's some good strategic depth. It is accessible, simple enough to understand, and again, deep enough to play a decent amount. Yeah, what would you give it as a rating? Total rating.
Okay, I think we want to not do out of 10, right? Because nobody ever uses the bottom half of it anyways. So for rating, I want to say, for 1, we say it's not a game I would suggest playing.
1, it's either a terrible game or it shouldn't be called a game because it's a toy, because there are some of those on the list and it's like it's technically a game because it's got cards, but it should... Anyway, 5.
2, no, okay, so I was going to go up.
Alright, fine. 2.
2 would be, this is an okay game. Not every day, bring this to every game meet material, but wouldn't complain at having to play it. 3 would be, this is a good game. I recommend it.
Yeah, and middle of the back.
4, I think 4 we would recommend only if this was a spectacular game in some way.
Well, I think 4 can be a pretty decent game, and 5 is when it's a spectacular game.
Oh, what I was gonna say is 5 is like top 3 best dinosaur games ever.
I suppose. Personally, if I were to go with the way I imagine the rating system, I'm gonna go with 3.5, maybe 4.
I'm gonna go for a solid 3 because I like I like whole numbers. But I agree, it's on the upper side of 3s. So anything else?
Throw the fish!
Ow. Hey, stop it.
For more information on the Raptor Hills podcast or Windmill Crusaders, please see our website in the description or show notes below. Thank you for listening.